All right. It is 6 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call to order this special city council meeting of Monday, June 29th at 6 p.m. Won't you please join me in a pledge of allegiance to our flag? Great week to be doing this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a roll call, please?
Westwood?
Here.
Battle?
Here.
Daniel? Here. Davis? Here. Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude? Yes. Stupin? Yes.
All right. Thank you. And thank you all for making yourself available tonight. And thank you to the members of the public who've joined us both in person and online. I will start by entertaining a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda.
I will second.
All right. I have a motion from Councilmember Ronning, a second from Councilmember Daniels. Discussion at the table. I will add that this does have the little asterisk at it. We did talk about it at the last meeting, but we did not have all the documents and stuff ready at that point. So just to clarify, it does have the little asterisk on it. So discussion at the table. Hearing none, can we make it official with a roll call, please?
Battle?
Yes.
Daniel? Yes. Davis? Yes. Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude? Yes. Stupin? Yes.
All right. Mayor's reports. I actually do have some things I want to share. First off, 4th of July is coming up. So for those of you listening online and in the room, please do not park on Broadway between the hours of what it says on the sign. Remember what it's going to, so we'll have signs out.
From 10
I think-
to 1?
No, 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
Yeah, there's a time there. Basically, it's the time before noon that'll really be a problem. The part between noon and 2, it ain't going to happen, so I'm not too worried about that. And that is every day.
Second, third, and fourth.
Pardon? The second, third, and fourth. It's every day that's the greatest. Thank you. Sorry. All right.
And tomorrow morning.
Pardon?
And tomorrow morning for the street sweeping.
Oh, yeah, and tomorrow morning, it's an early morning. They're doing
5 a.m.
it's 5 to 8. They're going to be out doing and yet another version. They've done a couple of passes of street cleanup and sweeping too. When you have company coming over, you clean up the house. So we're doing what we can to have things ready to present Red Lodge to the world. I will say for the next agenda, just as kind of a heads up, I could do it down at the opportunity to introduce additional items for future discussion, but I'll go ahead and do it now. I do anticipate on having a contract to hire a city administrator. So this is, we talked about in the admin and finance. One of the things that they will do is they will come to council and talk to council, and basically they're going to finalize and approve the job description. And so we'll have council sign off on that. I'm down to 2 firms. Interesting. One of them is Prothman, who the city has used before. The other one is GMP, and the P stands for Prothman.
2 Prothmans?
Yes.
Not
anymore. Enough said. So those are the 2 players that are there, and I have not made a final decision on that, but I anticipate coming with a contract at the next meeting.
So it's not an employee, it's a contracted?
It's a headhunting firm that goes out and finds. So it's like who we brought in Peter Italiano.
Okay,
and we've used them for police chiefs and other things in the past. And it used to be Prothman and Prothman, and now it's Prothman and Prothman.
Yeah.
So.
I hope we get the good side.
I'm gonna flip a coin. No, I'm reaching out and talking to references from both of them, but I also wanted to kind of give a heads up so that it doesn't show up without at least 4 conversation on it. The other thing I wanted to share with council, just from an informational standpoint, the city received a summons to appear for a piece of land dispute. It's basically the land that somebody had acquired, somebody hadn't paid their taxes on it. And so they went in and paid that, and now they own it. And what's happening is the paperwork over the years has not been in line. So they've summoned us to come and show cause why we think we have an interest in the property. The catch is, we don't think we have an interest in the property. Decades ago, like probably 100 years, it was part of that Dally Avenue that was abandoned decades and decades and decades ago. And so yeah, it's not the recent part, it's like the original one way back when. And so the plaintiff has basically asked the courts to, if we don't show up, they've asked the courts to declare that we don't have an interest, which is our opinion to start with. So counsel, SEL's advice has been that we do nothing, but he did recommend that I share it with counsel, CIL.
So where exactly is, I know it's on Daly Avenue, but where?
It's Dally.
What? No,
It's Dally. Do a little history.
All right.
We won't get there, but
like,
just a second.
yeah, she's only lived here 5 generations. Like.
There's a great book,
About that.
there's a great big book on him. He was a very prominent guy back in the old days.
Well, if you're from Red Lodge, you pronounce it Daly.
I was gonna say Daly Civil Art, or maybe.
I'm just saying, the guy whose name it was said Dally, and he got books written about him, so, and if you look at the way it's spelled, you'll realize it really is Dally.
Okay, well,
So we'll all go down to Regis and have a conversation about it.
with his friend.
And then we're gonna drive down Ballard.
We'll drive there via Villard. Anyway, so, I didn't get the exact address, I apologize. I tried to narrow it down. I wanna say it's on the south end. But like I said, it's, the short version is, Dennison researched it, and
Well, I mean, how do we know we don't have an interest in it? What?
because we have the resolution from 1920 or 13 or whatever it is, where we said we don't. We abandoned, vacated, and discontinued and everything that was there. So our records already show that we don't have it there.
I'd like to see a copy, I'm getting ready to, I like to see copies thing instead of hearing it. I'd like to see a copy of that, what happened in 1927, instead of just.
Lonnie, do you have that readily accessible when you chased
I don't
it
need it
down?
now, I'm just
No,
like,
I'm just,
just when I see things.
Do you know how
the old ones that Dennison was talking about on that.
Yeah, 'cause you know how I,
You must have found it.
Okay,
I don't-
yeah, I can request that
Yeah.
he get a copy of that sent. But the short version is, we aren't doing anything.
Is it in cursive?
probably, is it in cursive?
No, it's probably-
No, it's probably an old Courier typewriter with keys that got stuck halfway through. The S is a S. So, I have seen it, I just don't have it in front of me right now. I want to say 19 before the 20 or after the 20, somewhere right around there.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause you know how I feel about abandoning property, and I understand if it's already been abandoned,
Yeah,
then
it's-
it's different,
It's
but
not a
I
request
really-
for us to abandon it, it's something that's already been abandoned. And so they're saying, show why you think you
Then
have
why-
a belief that you do it. Just
Why are we involved in it then if it's supposedly already
because the
abandoned?
Department of Revenue forced them to go to anybody who'd ever been around it, near it, or anything else, and summons them. And so they actually issued a summons to the city, because when they went to close it out for all the tax records, they said, you didn't summons the city. So they summoned the city, and council looked at it and said, yeah, don't do anything. Okay? So, and I can have him print that and include that, and we'll include that in the minutes for the next meeting. But anyway, he just advised to let folks know, in case you'd heard about it, that's what the deal is, and we have been advised to do nothing, so we will. All right, that is all I had, unless there's anything else for me. All right. With that, we will go ahead and go to public comments. This is one of a couple of different opportunities we have for public comment. The rules are on the wall and also on the back of the agenda. You'll have 3 minutes to speak about anything within the council's purview. Please address your comments here. And we'll go ahead and open public comment. Looking to the room. Seeing none in the room. Looking online, I'm looking for raised hands, mics, cameras. Calling for public comment going twice. Public comment going 3 times. We'll go ahead and close public comment. And again, just a reminder, there will be an opportunity for public comment at the end of the meeting, as well as for any action items we have. At this point, I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 3746.
I move to approve resolution number 3746, authorizing the mayor to sign interim legal services agreement with Scott J. Peterson and Skylar R. Steele.
I will second.
Have a motion from Councilmember Ronning, a second from Councilmember Daniels. Before we start, I will clarify that you have 2 copies of the resolution in your packet. Depending on the order, the first one has some highlights that came in red. Those were highlights that our current city attorney, I had him review the contract, because if I was on council, I would want to have him review it and look at it and see what his input is. And then the second one that does not have the red line is the contract as it was presented. I think that's what I will add to that at this point. We will start with actually, before we even do that, we have Scott and Skylar here. Scott, would you mind taking just a moment and standing up and introducing yourself? And I will, and introducing yourself, and feel free to kind of address any of the questions that we had in our conversation, and if you want to, and if you want a cheat sheet, I can give you one.
I might take you up on that, but I'm okay.
Okay.
Well,
okay,
right now. I'm Scott Peterson. This is Skylar Steele. We came here tonight to meet everybody. We are essentially going into private practice. Right now, Skylar and I are employed as deputy Stillwater County attorneys. Our boss, Nancy Rohde, lost her primary election in the beginning of this month. And we have decided we are not going to stay in Stillwater County past the end of the year when her term is up. That's mostly due out of loyalty to Nancy. We have a really good working relationship. She's been really good to both of us. And so that's the reason why we're moving on. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm from Montana. I grew up in Billings Heights. I have practiced law for, I'm going on 22 years now. I've worked for quite a few government agencies. I started out in private practice. I know one of the questions was about estate planning. I'm actually CPA, maybe the worst CPA that's ever been. I did that for a little while and decided it wasn't for me. I went to law school, worked for a law firm, and then I went to work for the public defender. After that, I was a county attorney. I worked for the Attorney General. I worked for a number of counties. I've actually never worked for a city, though. I have practiced in city and municipal courts all over. I practiced in most of the district courts in Montana. I've done a lot of defense work in city courts and municipal courts, but never as a prosecutor. But there's practically no difference between justice court, city court, district court. The procedures are the same. It's just the severity of the case. Essentially, your city courts here, they'll only deal with misdemeanors. Skylar has a really interesting background. And do you mind if I speak for you? Or Skylar is he's a policeman. He was I think Skylar was born in Colorado, but was a policeman in Colorado, came to Montana, moved to Stillwater County. Became the chief detective in Stillwater County. He is incredibly bright. Nancy actually talked him into going to law school, where I know he was an incredible student and finished really high in his class. Skylar graduated in 2.5 years. I had never heard of that until he did that, and has recently been licensed. I was licensed in 2004. He's licensed this year. Skylar's been working as an intern in our office for the last year or so. Been in court a lot, surprising amount for someone who hasn't been licensed. Does a really, really good job. He's got a little boy, another one on the way, married to a really neat lady. I've got a lady who's actually a Carbon County resident. She's a marshal from Roberts. We've got 2 grown kids, both in college. One's going to the Grizz, and unfortunately, one's going with the Bobcats. And, it may not help me, but I don't care. But that's our background, and I don't want to bore you with that. But we're both licensed to practice law. I've been in court pretty much my entire career. That's what I do. I was thinking on the way up here, I probably had something in the neighborhood of 500 to 1,000 contested hearings. I did a lot of what they call DN work, is where social workers take kids away, and so I represented the state in that for many years, and I've done lots of criminal prosecution. We handle anything from essentially the most minor traffic ticket to we have a double homicide going in Stillwater County right now. So I'm sure y'all probably heard about that. That's coming to trial in October. I'm not full-time in Stillwater. I work 4 days a week. What we have proposed to you folks is that we are going to plan on working essentially one day, all day Wednesday. And the reason for that is that's the day you've got your court, I'm sure y'all know. And I've never been in this building before. This is actually a really cool building. I know Judge He does it really well. Judge He does it has been an expert witness for me in a bunch of DN cases. I've known him for years. I know his wife really well. I know the legal community here really well. Skylar's gotten to know them too. So we're real comfortable here. I think we'd be real comfortable with subject matter. I did learn a lot just listening to how you run your procedure, Mayor, already. So that sort of thing will be something I'm keenly interested in. Other than that, I can't think of much else. We are excited, though, for the opportunity. This is something we want to do maybe not only for City of Red Lodge, but for some other cities. It sounds like in speaking with the mayor that there is a need out there that perhaps we can meet, and that's sort of our plan going forward is we hope to not only work for you folks, but maybe a few other cities that are in need of this type of work. We have a good relationship with Dennison Butler. We work with Dennison all the time. He works in Stillwater County. He takes most of the serious felony cases that we have. I couldn't tell you how many cases I had with Dennison. I've known him since he came to Montana. I like Dennison. We get along real well. We actually went and spoke to him on Friday. We came over here and we spent 15 or 20 minutes in his office. He's got a beautiful office, and told him what we were doing. It's nothing, absolutely nothing personal with us. That is not our intent. We just simply are excited and happy to do this if you want us. So, and I'm happy, Skylar, I'm sure is happy to take any questions or concerns or comments you might have.
If you'll stick around just in case council has questions, I will add my 2 cents. So as council is aware, I had reached back and indicated that I was looking to make a change, and we had reached out to the league on multiple occasions. And at one point, the league was talking about that they were going to put together a firm that was going to basically do just municipalities, both the prosecution and the municipal side. And then they switched plans, and then that person ultimately ended up leaving. So I had reached out to them, and they provided a couple of references of the folks that they had gone through and screened. One of them was based out of Helena. One of them was based out of Bozeman. But through that process, I started receiving calls from multiple attorneys inquiring and asking, including Scott had reached out. And we chatted a little bit, and he started to describe what he was looking at doing, and it was basically the same thing as what the league had talked about and that I've mentioned on multiple occasions. I really thought somebody ought to do it. I want somebody who's a specialist and dealing. I know with our planner, we frequently benefit from having them have exposure to multiple different municipalities. So while this is a short term, this is 3 months here. We're going to have some things that I need to decide how to handle over the next 2 or 3 months, and I would like council to do that. And so this is, we will be working with our HR firm to advertise for a full-time position. I did get an opportunity to reach out and talk to several of the people. One of the things Scott did not mention, that he had also served as the county deputy attorney, correct me if I get it wrong, under Alex. So he had worked with Alex, so I spoke with Alex and got a very strong recommendation there. So between the distances, and I'm not going to lie, the hourly billing, as well as being a fan of what they are proposing doing, I thought this will be a really great match and an opportunity for us to cover our needs for the next few months while we take a little bit more time to properly fill the other position. So any questions from the table, and I'll start down on this end?
I think my only question I was going to bring up is to see if there is any potential for a conflict of interest of any sort. But other than that, sounding like
that potential does exist, and it exists with our current attorney as well. And so a lot of times, and it exists with our judge, so there's a lot of times that they basically cover themselves and step out of sight to do that.
Okay.
And I trust their professional etiquette to identify and declare those and say, this isn't going to work for us and we need to do something else. Anything you want to add to that?
Just that's something you have to be cognizant all the time when you practice law, that, you know, because I've represented people, prosecuted people, you can't, if you've represented somebody in the past, you can't out-prosecute them, so we're always on the lookout for that. We actually have software that can help us do it, but, if that does come up, then we identify the conflict and we find, essentially what we do in Stillwater right now is we'll ask Mr. Nixon to take a case for us, or Pat Dreamman from Sweetgrass, and we'll do the same for them if a personal conflict of any kind develops, or it's an employee. You've always got the state of Montana too that you can ask to step in if need be. I don't foresee a lot of that, but I really don't. For either one of us, we don't have professional connections, maybe to Harlan County, that would cause that to happen a lot.
Councilmember Battles?
My only thought is that it's a really short term. Was that a choice on our part or a limitation on?
It was a choice on our part. My thinking is that 3 months should be more than adequate to advertise it, and I would anticipate that I would certainly invite these folks to come back and apply for those full-time positions. And that, you may recall, is the same conversation we've had with our current council as well, that they are welcome to apply for any positions.
Sure.
And I'd like to think that we will have had a little bit of a taste and opportunity and know what works and what doesn't work and what we may need to modify along the way. But we're going to work with our HR firm. They help us finalize that job description and get it out there as well. Councilmember Ronning?
My only question is am I right that there's actually 2 contractors on here, one for the city admin type legal services and one for prosecution? Is that correct?
My understanding is that they are both capable of doing both.
No, I know, I understand. My question is, and both of them say there's 40 hours a month. So are we getting 80 hours a month for 10,000, or is it just 40 hours for 5 for both services?
It is 40, and I will refer
Okay,
you to the
thank
copy that Dennison did.
Oh, okay, thank you.
In number 5 in the Dennison copy, one of the things, he said a flat rate of 5,000 for both attorneys for up to
Okay.
40 hours. So.
And that's for both services, though?
That is for both services.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to just
One of the
clarify,
other
so.
things that I liked, and actually it was true of the firm in Bozeman as well, is it was an office that has multiple, so if somebody had something that they were out of office, they basically had backup staff that was available, and they work on able to do that.
Do we know from Dennison's schedule how many hours a month he typically put in for prosecution?
I do not have that information. I know that he logs 32 hours into Black Mountain every month, but I have not been able to ever get an accounting for how much was municipal and how much was.
Okay. And when we move forward with this, will you be able to let council know when we're hitting that max so that we can maybe not send them every little thing and kind of get things more finalized before we send it to them rather
I
than
absolutely will.
having them work on it with us?
One of the things we built into that is that if they go more than, I want to say, 2,000, then was that 20? It's not quite 20, so it's an extra 15 on top of that they are not allowed to proceed without letting me know.
Okay.
And one of the conversations that we did have, and they assured me would not be a problem, is I absolutely expect and demand an accounting of where the time is spent and what our money is getting,
Right.
and they said that would not be a problem.
And my point is that, right now, we send Dennison quite a bit of stuff just to get an idea on it. And it may be that we as council just kind of streamline that a little bit more so that we're not maybe involving them from step one necessarily, so that we don't reach those hours right away.
I'm a big fan of that as well.
Okay, so, and I guess that'll just be a conversation on a procedure moving forward then, okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Councilmember Rood.
Patty?
Oh, I'm gonna go to the chair. Councilmember Davis?
Yes, let's see. Okay, so because the logging and accounting of it, you're gonna have like once a month or like bi-weekly, then we will know how to gauge it, right, how many hours we're at. If there's none, then we can throw them stuff that we need for council review, right?
I'm not sure I tracked that completely. Right now, they're gonna turn in their hours monthly, but we'll be in
just
communications.
monthly?
I can certainly ask them to let me know, like, on a weekly basis where we are.
Yeah, I think
So-
that would be really helpful, yeah, 'cause if there is time, that'd be great to be able to utilize them, like Jody was saying, you know, but don't wanna max them out. And then, because of that short turnaround time of 3 months, and it says that we can bank hours, so they get paid the flat rate of 5,000 for up to 40 hours per month. So say they only work 30 hours, and so the city gets 10 hours the following month. How does that transpire at the termination? It doesn't say anything about paying out bank or justifying.
It really doesn't, other than we did put in there that if there's a transition to another team,
Okay.
that we could use those banked hours there, or we'll pay the 125 rate. Part of this goes back to, Councilmember Battle's question about why is this only 3 months?
Yeah,
Because I don't have any data to tell you how many hours it really takes to do this job. And so I'm hoping within 3 months, we will have some real data to work with.
Fair enough.
okay, so if we banked hours, we get that credit from the next party?
No, it won't be with the next part, it'll just be with this group.
But we would.
We'll make sure we put them to work and use it up.
Okay, yeah.
There's always something to do.
It's in writing on termination and how that transpires and whether we get paid out or they get paid out for it, so that's my main question.
I understand the question. I don't think I have concerns about that. Scott, do you have any ideas on how to address that?
You know, I thought, you're actually doing a great job reviewing that, because I thought the same thing. It's a little awkward. The reason why we put that in there is, I've done this with other counties, so I've been, I call it special deputy for, Dawson, for, Richland, and for Stillwater County. And I have contracted with 20 hours a month with those guys, and I try to hit that.
Yeah.
But it's never right on,
Perfect.
because if you get a big case, it's more, and if you don't, and we've never settled up, essentially. Like with
Yeah.
Richland County, I think I'm actually a little bit under. I've been working for them for 4 years. I'm a little bit under, but I'm making that time up. Like, I have a shaken baby case coming up
Okay.
that's probably gonna eat it up.
Oh,
So
yes,
with
yep.
the provision for, I guess, the overage to be paid up to $2,000, it's awkward with the bank. So I guess the way I would read it right now would be, we'd give you the bank 20 hours, and then anything past that, we'd start. And my thought was, we talk to the mayor and say, hey, it looks like we need to start charging you by the hour for up to $2,000 more.
Yeah.
That seems like it would work, and if we get to the end of this 3 months and we've spent a lot more time in the contract, you know, I assume we're gonna apply again, because we're gonna like this, and then we're just gonna probably say this is not a 8-hour-a-week job or 9-hour-a-week job, it's 12 or something.
I will add that the original contract that came in was actually for,
I think a week.
yeah, was significantly higher than this. I specifically took the number low. It doesn't change our hourly rate, just as kind of a protection while we get it figured out.
That's good.
Part of our thought too was this being at the council meetings, and whether you want it or you don't, finding that out. And I don't know if this is something that you folks are looking for, to have one of us here at your, is it weekly meeting?
Twice a month normally.
Okay, and that was part of the thought with the 16 hours is, making sure we're available to all your department heads. I think, you've had at least one of them that's expressed some concern about that availability, making sure we're available to police if they call about search warrants. That happens kind of in the night a lot. And so it's stuff that we were trying to anticipate, but, gave a quick draft, and always happy to hear the input. So I think that was a really good point.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I think that goes back to why we did this as a 3-month. I actually feel that it's more likely that we're gonna exceed the 40 than that we're gonna go under the 40.
Okay.
But I just really don't have any data right now. Scott alluded to the fact that I've had a couple of conversations with department heads. I've talked to our public works director, and I've talked to Chief Schrock. And these gentlemen understand that if our public works director isn't happy, I'm not happy. And so I think we're gonna be good there. And if we move forward with this tonight, then that will be one of the first things we do on the 1st. And then we started on the 1st just because we're at the year end, and it didn't make sense to go through all the hassle and paperwork in the world for 1 day of transition time. So we started it on Wednesday rather than tomorrow.
And I think, yeah, that there was a need during council meetings, you know, and Dennison was always there for us, you know, as follow-up, and Stephanie always replied with his comments, but there are a lot of questions that come up for the attorney during council meetings.
And I'm happy to entertain. One of the things you'll notice in the contract is, the original contract said we'll be there for council meeting, and I said as requested, I added to that. Mostly, again, conscientious of the dollars, and if we find that we want them here, we can certainly include them.
Yeah.
We just need to understand it's costing us $125 an hour to have them here. So, I will add, just by way of reference, the Bozeman firm was giving us a great discounted rate of 350, plug your ears, of 350 an hour, so that was also part of the factors into things. Any other questions?
Or passed, or?
Pardon?
The Bozeman attorney, you said?
The one that I did not choose?
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
So, can I
Yeah.
ask one more question? In the contract, it has there that they'll be drafting ordinances too.
Okay.
And I know that hasn't made, I mean, Dennison did a few, but a lot of those were amended by city council and then they reviewed them. So
Yeah,
that,
and
that will just kind of continue on,
It'll
correct?
continue
Okay.
as on an as-needed basis.
Okay.
And one of the things is, if we find out it takes them 30 minutes to put something together and we fight over, kind of like what we did with the planner when we handed it off to them, they came back in the week and was like, why have we been pounding on our head on this for 6 months? So we will look and learn and figure out what that working relationship is.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Councilmember Davis, we were with you. Did you get a chance to finish, or other questions?
Chelsea, I have a ton of questions. Would you like to go first?
I probably have a lot of the same ones.
Okay.
Councilmember Root, I'm going to go ahead and exercise my ability as the director of the meeting to go ahead and call on you.
Okay, hi, thanks for coming. I don't know whether to be flattered or perturbed that something I typed up at 11:30 this morning is what we're going by today. Resume, no resume. Where'd you go to undergrad? Transcripts, job experience, background checks, bar exams, trial experience, writing samples, professional experiences, and insurance.
So
Nope, I'm not done.
I am going to jump in though, because I am running the meeting. So I will accept happily input from anybody. I do not take direction from any individual member of council. So that's the first part. The second part is, this is a temporary 3-month contract, and so it is not the same level of what we will go through when we are hiring somebody full-time.
No. What happens in something big could happen in 3 months. And don't you want a resume? For goodness sakes, every job you ever apply for, a resume, references. Nothing, none of this, and I typed this up just in frustration this morning because I didn't know anything about these guys. You sound like nice guys. I'm glad you're a cop. I think that's awesome. But who are you?
And I did, in my role as mayor, I did reach out and check with references and folks they've worked with and folks they've talked to. And so I felt comfortable enough.
And you did not
bringing them forward.
include that in supporting documents that we got on Friday.
Go on.
Don't you think that these people are going to be defending us? Don't you think we should know who they are, what their experiences is?
Okay.
I'm assuming that Skylar is studying for the bar right now. You're taking this fall, or have you already passed the bar?
He's already done, and those bar numbers are actually in the contract.
Oh.
So you missed that.
Well, it said he graduated in 26. That's what I found out. So I didn't know how you could take a bar and graduate in 26. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not giving anybody instructions. These are just common sense questions that you ask someone when they're applying for a job, a lawyer's job, and they're going to be defending you and me. And I don't know anything about them. You did not supply information. Again, you're keeping us in the dark. You want me to remind you the times you kept us in the dark?
It's your time.
You kept us in the dark about the tourist grant. You didn't tell us you were on that committee, for example. You didn't tell us. I found out November 19th. What I'm saying is, guys, I think you're nice guys. I probably won't vote for you this thing, but I need to know who you are. Isn't that just common knowledge? common sense? Why wouldn't you have shared that with us? 3 months could lead into a year. I'm sure, as Scott said, they want to apply again in 3 months. Well, that's what, Dennis said, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. Very disappointed. You guys, again, I'll say, you seem like nice guys, but you ill-prepared them for me. And, this is just basic information at a job interview. Have you interviewed them? When did you meet them? When did you interview them?
We have been having conversations for a little over a week now.
But have you had a one-on-one, in-person job interview?
I would
Where
say
you
that
have
was
asked the-
on Thursday or Friday. Friday when we met down at the courthouse.
Well, I still want this information, and I don't know, I looked you up, Scott. I couldn't find a lot on you. I think you, did you go to Missoula for law school?
I did.
Okay, that's what I thought. And I saw you were both at Stillwater. Skylar, I didn't find anything on you except that you graduated 26. So there's usually places I can find things, like undergrad, job experiences, but I couldn't find anything on that, on y'all, and I would appreciate it if you would supply that to the mayor and if he would share it with us.
Anything else, Councilmember Rood?
Insurance. You need insurance. You have insurance, I'm assuming, because you're starting a new law firm.
So actually, let's go to, because one of the additional amendments that Dennison had in his copy actually was in paragraph 10. Dennison added, the attorney shall carry malpractice insurance, which I didn't understand, and my understanding is Dennison does not carry malpractice insurance since he's been moved to the interim state. Scott, can you speak a little bit to that question?
Yeah, you bet. So, we actually don't have insurance yet, and frankly, don't plan to get any. As a prosecutor, you have qualified immunity at least. So, unless we were to step outside our role.
I don't know all that about.
No, I know,
insurance,
ma'am, and believe me, I take no offense, and I understand, and I'm sorry, typically, and I'm not trying to be condescending at all, but like, if you hired me as an attorney, I wouldn't give you those things. You can see my transcripts, but if you make me go back and get my high school transcripts, it might be hard because it was a really long.
You don't have a resume, a CV to give us?
Ma'am, I have a CV, but I'll have to update it. It's from 2 years ago. So happy to provide that, but I got your questions today as well. At noon, I'm not around the computer where I'd have that. So I frankly don't agree with you that all those things are necessary. When you hire an attorney, you typically don't get their
I'm not hiring you attorneys to defend me. I'm hiring you for a job in the city of Red Lodge. It's not the same.
Well, you are hiring me on an interim basis to cover this until you hire somebody.
I'm sure you're hoping it'll last longer than 3 months.
Well, of course, and like I say, I'm happy to provide whatever you want there.
I think these are good questions. They're common sense questions, and that's all
I don't disagree, and we'll both give that to you. You're going to see Skylar's grades are a lot better than mine if I can find those law school transcripts, but all that stuff is there, and I did provide the mayor just a few references that are local that you'll recognize. Trial experience, I talked about it a little bit. It's pretty extensive. I can give you a writing sample if you want to see. We both do a lot of writing.
And I just want to clarify that all of those things fall under the administration's purview with consent of council. So it's one of those things I do.
How can I advise and consent? Advise and consent is the job of the council. How can I advise and consent if I don't have any information?
And you've indicated you don't intend to, so and I'm okay with that. Is there any other comments or questions?
Skylar has stood up. I don't know what.
Councilmember Rood, I think you have great questions. Just to clarify, I graduated in December of 2025, so I have already gone through the.
Oh, okay. I thought it said 26. Fine. Okay.
Thank you for that. In reference to what we're dealing with tonight, is there any specific questions that you have for either Scott and I that we could answer?
Well, are you going to split up misdemeanors and felonies, or how are you going to tag team this?
So our vision, city court only handles misdemeanors. So.
That's right, okay, sorry.
So the felonies will all be at the county attorney's office, and we both have a good relationship with Mr. Nixon, so if there's a felony that comes through the city, I'm happy to work with the police department to make sure everything's buttoned up and we can get it over to the county attorney's office. That's something I've spent many years doing, and, Mr. Peterson's done a lot with too. I think in terms of splitting it up, we both want to make sure that one of us is always available for the city of Red Lodge, specifically the council, the police department, the public works, anybody who needs us. That's, I think, one of the reasons we wanted to team up as a pair, so that if, one of us had like, for instance, this Wednesday, I know you have city court every Wednesday, and there's also times when one of us has court somewhere else, so there's always going to be someone here available to cover that, and between Scott and I, we can work out who's going to be here for court, who can come to a council meeting if that's necessary, if one of us has obligations with a kid or something.
Are you a
like that.
two-person, practice right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep. And I think, between Scott's experience and my experience, it's kind of a unique two-person team. I have a lot of law enforcement background. I've got a fair number of courtroom experience. I haven't done to a jury trial yet, but I've done a number of hearings. I did all the trial classes in law school. Scott's gonna help me on
Did
those.
you go to Missoula?
I did, yes.
Okay, I forgot to ask you that. Thank you.
And I did. I graduated December 2026. I graduated in the top of my class. So now I've got Scott who's kind of helping show me the way on some of the, help me with trials. I know if we have a big case come up, we'll both be looking at it and working on it together and figure that out. So I think you have excellent questions. So I think if there's anything we can answer right now that would help you or help build a relationship, I want to take advantage of this opportunity.
Well, I appreciate that. I just not want to know who I'm dealing with.
Absolutely. I'm in the same boat too, to be honest with you. Like, we're excited to.
And I'm disappointed that this was shown, what I typed up this morning, this is all I have.
Sure, and I understand that, and we'll be happy to get you additional information, but if we can appease you any other way tonight, by getting you whatever you need, that'd be great.
You know what, it's just common sense. All this is common sense,
Sure.
Councilmember Tupin, do you have any questions?
Are you done?
for now.
Okay. My question, starting with the wages, so it's 125 an hour. Is there a minimum rate on that? Is it like 15 minutes? Is it minimum hour?
I've done 15, I've done 6.
Okay.
So, and I'm happy to, yeah, I'm sure that you folks would probably rather 6, and it's, typically if it's 15, you don't take a phone call for 2 minutes and charge them for 15. That's not how you're supposed to do it.
And we can certainly, when we get the first set of bills that come in, council will have an opportunity to review those and offer input.
Yeah, just curious, because, never know. Then,
Save up your questions, one phone call.
right? Kind of, yeah, I don't like to waste people's time, but also, I don't like to waste money, the questions answered. So, another question in terms of, and I apologize for not knowing this off the top of my head, but how does this $5,000 compare to what we were paying Dennison?
So right now, we actually have a loaded wage, so this is if we get by with $5,000 a month, which I don't anticipate we will do, we will actually be money ahead.
Okay.
No benefits.
Yeah, because we do not pay benefits or.
Yep. And then one question that's a little bit more two larger scale questions. It looks like there was a lot of sloppy that happened behind all of this. So I was just kind of looking for that same clarification. I was reading through a lot of email threads that just didn't seem graceful. We'll put it that way.
I will respond with, this is just a discussion about hiring some interim counsel. I would acknowledge that there is some messy, and I would like to have good guidance as I navigate the messy. But we're not gonna go into that at this point. When we're going, we may talk about whether we want to have a closed session in the future to talk about some of those things. But I'm going to get some guidance and direction before we go down that direction.
Okay. Also on that note, or not that.
I will add, by the way, that current council was invited and even encouraged and recommended to be here, and he elected not to be, and that's okay too.
Okay. Other question that I had in regards to timing, and I'm assuming it has something to do with that we are having this as a special meeting versus an active meeting at a city council.
It is because, we have some trials coming up in the future. It was, a blessed fifth Tuesday, which we all appreciate, but the timing was such that it was we had the risk of running without counsel and without coverage. And as you're aware, this is something we've kind of started 2 or 3 times and people have,
Yeah.
the resources we've relied on externally didn't come through, and I said, I need to step in and drive this and make it happen, so.
Okay. Another question, just out of curiosity, and again, this is probably me being naive or not knowing any better. It seems like we have a lot of resolutions for this, but also it's the mayor's position to hire staff. And I know that there was a very specific conversation of, we don't necessarily need to see the contracts that you're putting out for the city administrator, and until we asked for it specifically. When we asked for what was gonna be posted, what was that position description gonna look like? Just let me finish this thought real quick. Just making sure, I wanna know, when is it our responsibility that we need to actually sign off versus when you can just make a hire? Because again, it's your purview to hire who you feel is best for the city, that's the mayor's role, and we don't sign off on everybody that gets hired, so why are we signing off on this?
So this is a contract, so
Okay.
contracts specifically require there.
Okay.
The job description on the city administrator, specifically, the question was, can we see it? And the answer was no, because it doesn't exist yet.
Right.
So one of the things that's gonna happen is, and one of the things I have talked about with both parties that I'm talking to is, my sense is that council would like to see this, and they said, we would love to come talk to council and see what they want. One of the questions that has come up was, for instance, is that role going to have a supervisory role in it? I had indicated when I got into staff, their general feel was, no, this is just a cross-department coordinator. I will tell you that based on the feedback that I received from council in the admin meeting, not to mention the happenings the last couple weeks, it is my intention that role will absolutely be a supervisory role. So I've heard council's feedback on that. Like I said, you guys will sign off on that job description before we advertise for that. But I can't give it to you now because it doesn't exist yet.
Right, no, it was more
And
so-
ultimately what we'll do is we'll hire that headhunter to come in and write and bring their expertise and say, here's this and here's 1,000 samples and pick what you like and what you don't like.
And because that's a contract, we're gonna sign off on that.
Because
too.
that's a contract, you will need to sign off on that in order for me to sign. You basically authorize me to sign that contract.
Confirming our position and why, yeah. Again, if it seems like this is someone that we're hiring for a job, we're not necessarily the ones responsible for hiring staff. So they're not staff, they're 1099.
Yeah, so allow me.
That's all I need for
Yeah, and so allow me to address, just because you raised it, an additional concern that was raised. If you go to our charter, there is one position that requires council's sign-off for the mayor to terminate, and that is the city attorney. So the question is, and again, I'm not gonna make this decision, I'll offer 2 answers. I'm gonna let outside counsel guide me. Did the contract we signed that said terminate with 30 days notice that council signed off on meet that requirement? Or if there's a question, I have zero problem with having that be a separate action at a future council meeting regarding getting a standalone thing that says terminating council per our charter. But that would be, like I said, there's a lot of that will be a closed meeting, just because it's HR stuff.
Okay. My only other comment will be, as I do feel like there's some things that I would rather see in writing in this that we don't have in writing.
Such as
Specifically wrapping up and tidying up, what happens on termination of the contract, in terms of those hours. I know that you don't see it being an issue, but from someone who works in contracts, don't let it be an issue. I'd rather have our bases covered than not, and then specifically just your hourly breakdowns would be great. I know it might be excessive, but again, contracts.
meaning
definitely
that 15 or 6?
Yeah.
Okay, 15 or 6, okay? We'll bring it back to there. So, any other questions at the table before we go to public comment? Councilmember Daniels.
I was just looking, and so as I'm kind of scrolling through this now, it says the term shall be from July 1st through September 30th.
Yes.
Yes. But Denison's contract is still through July 15th.
That is correct. There is overlap on purpose.
Okay, so now, as far as contract for pay, are we now paying?
2 attorneys for 2 weeks, we are.
Great.
We are paying double legal counsel
Okay.
For 2 weeks.
for 2 weeks. Okay. Any other discussion at the table before we go to public comment? Councilmember Davis.
For normal protocol, I've been with council for about 1 year and a month, but I don't know what happened with Denison if we, because of a contract or city administrator, what the usual process is for us having access to the information that's requested, like resumes and transcripts and stuff. Is that a normal part of the process for hiring contract employees
It's,
in the city?
contract employees or regular employees, I would say, it's basically the hiring manager collects that. Certainly it is council's purview, and like I said, we've got on the agenda, down at the end of the agenda, you know, where council can add anything to the agenda they want, that council can say, we'd like to see all the resumes and stuff. I mean, certainly when we get letters and stuff, we generally include those in the packet per se.
Okay.
My hesitancy and my concern and what Dan would caution me against is, you're the mayor, you're the manager, don't advocate, you know, it's not six independent managers. There's a role for the mayor, there's a role for the council. But I think I've got 2.5-year reputation of, if council collectively, like I said, I don't take direction from any individual member of council. I try to consult and chat. I've had multiple conversations with you, whether we meet in the street, in the dog park, or whatever. I listen to that, I take that input, and certainly council can direct me as a whole. I do report to council as a body and can direct and request anything they'd like.
Okay, I just didn't know if that was usual, like for a city administrative position. Do we expect the same thing? Is there any?
I don't know. I don't know, based on what I saw through my 4 years on council. We didn't see, we knew what the process was. We knew that there were, but when I was on council, for instance, I didn't see all the resumes for the chief of police or the judge or the attorney or those other things.
No.
What we did do is get a sense that it was not my buddy that I went to kindergarten with and I'm just picking him because I like him. And I hope that between my explanation and what Scott has been able to share, like I said, and I reached out and talked to the county attorney and different folks, including positive feedback from Denison. So I feel comfortable in the selection. In fact, as I've sat here tonight, I'm going, I picked right. I'm not going to lie. That's the little voice in the back of my head. And so I guess the question is, when in a moment when we get back from public comment, bring it back to the table and we do a roll call vote, is if council agrees.
Okay, so we don't need anything in writing for any future positions, contracts, or
not generally speaking, like I said, because the city administrator is a somewhat new role, my sense is, even though it's not been officially dictated by council per se, is that council would like input in that process. Certainly the admin team has, and I've heard that and adjusted and responded accordingly.
Okay, no need for this.
Councilmember Tupin, that breath was like a hand wave. It was just, an audible.
I had a question, and now I'm trying to remember it, and it's okay, it's not your fault. It's my brain's fault. This is coming, old. For Monday.
Do you have a pen where you can write it down if you think of it during public comment?
No, the problem is I completely forgot my pen. I did,
But you're not allowed to click it.
so I did have a question in terms of liability and just exposure. Do you have experience with writing up ordinances, resolutions, and reviewing those types of things?
I have.
You didn't say.
No.
This is in court.
But it's respectful. So, I can help myself. I've worked with, for Stillwater County for a couple of years now as an intern, and as an intern in law school, you're allowed to practice law under the supervision of somebody. And then now as a deputy county attorney, and I've worked with the commission fairly regularly, I'll say multiple times a week, and a lot of that is drafting ordinances, contracts, resolutions, different things of that nature, and reviewing things. So I feel like I have that, and I'm sure Scott has something to add to that too, so.
I do not. I do not have a lot of experience with that. Most of my experience is in criminal law, and dependent in cases are civil, so I don't have extensive experience with resolutions, but they're not complicated. I have done contracts.
Yeah. We've learned to write them, so no.
Right.
Can't be that hard.
Like the fact that we've been writing them terrifies me.
Yeah, I know.
I specifically just want to see any sort of way to remove that liability and exposure. Want to make sure that when we are writing something, that when we're getting that legal advice, that we can feel comfortable and protected. That's a big one for me, because again, end of the day, we are a bunch of just normal people, and I almost swore, I get one a week, but we're a bunch of normal people sitting at the table, and that to me,
She's banking them for the next meeting.
the meeting's not over. But again, specifically, just want to make sure that we're covered, because we aren't lawyers, we don't have a education in city government, like, it's who does? I'm sure there's people. I don't care. But end of the day, it is, that's one thing that's just covering our ass. There it is. There's the one today. Specifically that, and then, also in terms of that insurance, I know that you said as prosecutors, you're covered by that. But is there any need for insurance for that type of counsel?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And, and that's maybe something we will continue to look at, but I really don't believe so. That even as we're your counsel for all of the civil work that you do, that's, as long as we're acting in the scope of our duties, it would be the city's job to indemnify us if we were to be sued. We'd have the same, I believe, protections if someone allegedly violated their civil rights. I don't think so, but it's not, certainly not out of the question that we're going to get it anyway. We just haven't, this happened really, really fast. I'm sorry, and that's a lot. That's even the reason you see two people's names on that contract instead of a company or a law firm or something like that, is we just, and you're getting that drawback that this has come about very, very quickly, and likely, hopefully when we apply next time, it will look a little bit different in the organization and some of the other details.
Fast and dirty, nothing that we're unfamiliar with.
And we can do research too.
All right.
Right, yeah.
I'm
And I'm assuming, Lonnie, I see you back there behind that computer in terms of our city insurance. Do we have some sort of coverages there?
So Denison is an employee contracted through the city.
Mm-hmm.
These are not considered employees.
Okay.
So I'm not sure on that question.
Okay.
One of their first duties we'll make sure is to
Make sure that they're not a problem.
make sure. We do have the ability to terminate and or do justice as necessary, so I feel.
Yeah, that's my only thing is, again, can I get you this week?
That is my number one job and concern, right there. If it's without objection from council, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to public comment. We will come back to the table after public comment. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open public comment specifically related to Resolution 3746.
Smith, Red Lodge. I'm confused because I know that the resolution is what you're voting on, but then you've got these two interim legal service agreements in the packet. One is marked up and one is not. And I know you can't answer my question, but when I step away, maybe you can say something about it. So I don't understand if you're voting on the one that's not marked up or the one that's voted, that is marked up. And shouldn't you vote on that agreement before you vote on the resolution to hire? I hope that makes sense.
Thank you, Hope. Any other public comment from the audience? Seeing none in the audience, I'm looking to online for raised hands, mics, unmuted mics, calling for public comment once, calling for public comment twice, calling for public comment 3 times. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public comment and I'll bring it back to the table. And I will take my what prerogative or to address the question. And so what we're voting on is the resolution to sign the contract. And the answer is absolutely before we, so to me, the contract that I put in the packet is the first one without the markups. So as we come to the table, the action will be, do we want to amend the contract? So we've got two potential amendments from current council Butler. The first one is the amendments to paragraph 5, which show up as read, so we could say amend paragraph 5 to read as presented. The second one was the paragraph 10, which I do not believe is necessary, and I based that off conversations with several people that are attorneys, that are professionals, but not paid by us. I don't believe 10 is necessary, and I will be certainly happy to bring it up if we feel that we need to make that adjustment. And then there were two additional amendments that I heard that I'm hoping people were really able to scribble something down in the background, or council has some ideas that they want to add a number, something in there that says, well, whether they're going to bill in 15-minute intervals or 6-minute intervals, and just amend it accordingly. Bringing discussion back to the table.
I don't have any intention of making that amendment, I just wanted it cleaned up. So, in terms of that contract, again, it's not my contract. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it, is if someone else would like to make that amendment, or if there's legal counsel in the room that would like to make their suggestions for their own contract, that would be fine. But
so the unmarked up contract is the one that the resolution goes to. Are there any motions to amend? Hope your 3 minutes are up.
I like how the amended version says the city shall not pay for travel time, unfortunately.
Okay, would you like to,
But,
would you like to move to amend number 5 as presented?
well, that's part of it. I do agree that, the amendment should include a flat rate of $5,000 for both attorneys. I think that's important, and which will be paid directly to Scott, who will then pay Skylar. I think that that's a good amendment to have, so we understand that, it's not 80 hours per month, but it's in writing, that it's 40 for both altogether. The malpractice insurance, I don't think if that's not common practice and if it's not currently required, I don't see why that addition would be needed, but I haven't done any research, so I don't know what is common practice.
I'll entertain a motion to amend.
Just do it, Patty.
Okay, I have a motion to amend, the interim legal services agreement to include number 5 under compensation as amended, and
We can go with just that for now and then, and vote on that one and then break it up into bite-sized chunks.
okay, yep, the only other one is the immunity.
I have a motion to amend
And I'll second.
from Councilmember Davis and a second from Councilmember Daniels. Discussion at the table. Can I get a roll call on including number 5, please?
Battle?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Ruth?
Yes,
Yep.
6-0, motion to amend carries. I'll entertain any further motions before we get back to the main motion.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Councilmember Davis.
under 9 termination, does council feel like anything needs to be put in writing, or do we not foresee that as a problem on settling up when the 3-month interim ends and either they're hired for full-time after that in a new contract or someone else's? Is there a need to amend number 9 at all, in your opinion?
I feel like with the 3 months, it's kind of like, so to speak, like a trial error.
Okay.
So we take a loss, we need to take a loss, and it is what it is.
Yeah, 40 hours a month for 3 months, it's only 120 hours, it's not a
Oh, yeah,
lot.
I don't think we're not gonna get it, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be under, I don't think they're gonna owe us any money at the
Again,
end. No, we're gonna owe them.
We'll settle up, we'll both
So,
have it.
I mean, if we were doing 80 hours a month, I would be more concerned, but we're not.
Okay.
And we specifically took the number down for that reason. Council, do you have any thoughts or suggestions on how you might tweak or change that?
Our thought there was just to cover, just in case this doesn't work out, and we're never gonna leave you in a lurch. It's not, I'd do that trial for free. You told me how much this other guy proposed to pay. I would do that trial for free in August, because that's the right thing.
You didn't hear that, your ears were plugged.
I have no problem with that. That's our thought, is if you wanna go with somebody else, we don't wanna keep coming. If they're not responsible, whatever it might be, we just want to be paid if we're coming back after the comment. If it was terminated, we'll do 6-minute increments. Obviously, that's what makes you guys feel better. It's no problem at all.
Yes.
And the one thing we did have a little bit of concern about was the travel time. So
Yeah.
we're going to come up here every Wednesday and take care of all the business we possibly can every Wednesday. And then more than that, though, straight up Hormuz closes again, and maybe gas costs $8 a gallon, and then it starts getting a little bit onerous on us to do that. That was one of our concerns, is if we're going to be coming to Red Lodge, because I live in Billings, I live in Columbus for now, at least, and it, but the mayor has been great to work with so far, and I think we already kind of trust each other about that. We're going to be fair about that, so I don't know that we need to touch that right now, but maybe in 3 months, that's something we can address with you, and if we're making a lot of trips to Red Lodge, we can.
We definitely allow Zoom meetings. Everything is Zoomed. All of our standing committee meetings and our city council meetings are, and our planners at WWC a lot of times will Zoom in.
Okay.
So then you won't have to travel here,
Yeah.
except for court.
That was part of our, and actually, there's a lot of court stuff that does remotely too, so.
There is, and it's kind of old, so I prefer to be in person for everything. I think this is a lot better for me to hear concerns or feedback in person than on Zoom. But yes, that is something we definitely do for sure.
Do you see an opportunity on number 6, invoices, where it says I'll invoice the city? Is there an easy way to insert a time increment in there?
Sure, if you want to say in 6-minute increments, I mean, that OPD requires 6-minute increments. It's really, that's standard. When I do the county work in other places, it's 15, just because it's a flat fee and it's just easy, but I'm happy that we can put 6 there. We'd be fine with that.
It's council's prerogative to make a motion if they'd like to.
I move to change 6 invoices. Attorneys shall invoice the city in 6-minute increments on or about the 5th day.
I have a motion from Councilmember Ronning, a second from Councilmember Tupin, I believe. Discussion at the table?
Mayor?
Yeah.
Skylar brings up a good point. If we just put under 5, up to 40 hours per month, build in 6-minute increments, would that be okay? That seems to go with
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
that clause.
Oh, put it in number 5 rather than number 6?
Yeah, on compensation instead. Okay. So moved.
In 5 minutes? And does the second carry?
6 minutes, yeah.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to amend number 5 to say in 6-minute increments.
Yeah.
While we're discussing number 5, do we want to revisit the travel time?
Yeah.
I didn't have a strong opinion on it, but I think you made a good point.
Pardon?
Do we want to revisit travel time?
It's council's purview.
Mhm.
As in finance, I want to look at that one. I don't.
I drove a hard
If that's a
bargain
no,
and
that's
took it
fine.
out at this.
Just curious.
So, do we want to revisit it now, or we want to revisit in 3 months and take advantage of them between now and then?
Take advantage of them.
Sammy,
Might I make a suggestion?
Yes, please.
I don't think either Scott or I have any trouble coming down for court once a week and joining on Zoom and stuff, but if you do demand our presence, maybe we can put a time on there, a time increment, if we need to come down a significant amount of time, and we can maybe talk about what you envision that being, then maybe we could get compensated for travel.
And do you think we'd get a feel for what that looks like in the 3-month period? We'd have an idea on how to address that?
I think we can. I think it'd be beneficial for us to see if, I guess I don't know what the council envisions aside from court and what we can accomplish being here on Wednesdays. But I think if we could just have a little discussion about that, that might help us visualize what we could
Councilmember Battles, you raised the issue, I'll come back to you.
In my mind, we're paying for their time, whether it's to be here or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of leaning toward we take that out entirely.
It's council's prerogative to make a motion.
Well, I would just say too that, my first 2 years on council, Dennison was at every city council meeting. He was at a lot of the work sessions. And since, you have been mayor, it's been very rare to see him at any of those meetings. And, yes, I would appreciate when we're doing something, working on something contentious that we do need legal advice on, to just have someone on Zoom so that we can ask. But at $125 an hour, I'm also okay with just talking it through as council and then, kind of reaching a consensus and then going to you too. So I'm not necessarily stuck on you being at every meeting, so.
What if it is just for in-person, outside of those Wednesdays? If they're here in person, we pay for travel time.
That would be about 2.5 hours travel time, is that per person too, for each of them?
Only one would show up. We wouldn't have both of them here.
And again, Wednesdays, it's expected
Mm-hmm.
that they come down and travel, and that's included within their time. But if we say, we need you here on Monday morning to shake hands with the town
Yeah, our
staff.
admin meetings are at 7:30 on Monday morning, so. it'll be-
So
But if
I'm
it's
almost,
a Zoom, we won't pay for travel for obvious
I'm
reasons.
almost saying the city shall not pay for Wednesday scheduled travel time.
Yeah, we won't pay for scheduled hour, any requested. We will
For
pay-
court.
Yep,
How about just travel outside of the standard 1 day a week?
yep, that works for me.
And Courtney?
One thing that occurs to me is not every Wednesday is full of court. And, our anticipation was we'd be here to talk to your admin, to you, to whomever wants
Okay.
to work on resolutions, to work on any of the drafting. But
Oh, that's
if you
great.
got something that you're concerned about contentious wise, that if you have a little notice, I'm very good at prioritizing, getting stuff done on Wednesday and saving time for a different day to be here to work, so that you're not using that entire time. We're sitting here and then we're not responsive to it. And I think at least, me more so now that Scott, after the beginning of the year, making sure we're here for what you need us to be here for. The travel time would be really nice, but also we don't need to spend our whole day here on Wednesday if there's something that's really important. And, as long as we know about it, we can do it, for sure. So, I don't think you don't have to be wedded that we've got all the other 4 days completely filled with things and we can't be here at a different time. And do
Okay.
this, and we can spend some of that time that you paid for to do what you need.
I'm thinking more so, instead of you guys having to drive, just zoom into the meeting, and then you guys don't have to drive, you don't have to wear real shoes,
Yeah.
and.
You can.
Yes, exactly. That's usually what I would say, but I get yelled at.
So-
Specifically, but that was more what I was leaning to.
So
is
do
that
you want to amend this?
I will make a motion to amend, is that where we're at?
Mhm.
Yeah, on number 5, the last line.
Okay. The city shall pay travel time for, requested time outside of your scheduled Wednesdays. Is that bad? That was terrible. That was bad. I need to write it down.
What is it?
Council?
I do have a suggestion if you'd entertain it.
Yeah, I'll entertain a suggestion from
I
that
think
guy.
we both agree, Scott can kick me in the shin if I'm talking outside of my line. I think we're agreeing to drive down 1 day a week.
Perfect.
Okay.
Outside of that, so if we could just clean it up maybe.
Cool.
And your proposed language is?
The city shall pay for one travel day, or no, not pay for one travel day a week. We'll get one free travel
Pay
day.
travel time for, travel in excess of 1 day per week.
Perfect. Thank
There
you.
you go.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I have to write it down. I
No,
can't.
well, no, if we say it clearly for the record,
He said it
the
clearly.
city shall not
As amended,
pay
or as.
travel time.
For Wednesday.
Oh, wait. The city shall pay travel time excluding 1 day a week of scheduled time.
Yes.
Yep, whatever he said.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Tupin, second by Councilmember Ronning. Discussion of the table.
Sure.
Councilmember Battles, did we meet your objective and where you're going?
It's fine.
Hearing no discussion at the table, can I get a roll call on the amendment?
Okay, so we have 2 separate amendments sitting here.
Oh, did we not vote on the first one yet?
Yeah, we did.
So we voted
Yeah.
on the first one.
Yeah, I have it,
But not
so.
the-
But not
We're still working in
But
5.
not the 6-minute increments. What did we do with that one?
Oh,
God.
the
They're all
6-minute
together.
increments is in number 5. For both attorneys, up to 40 hours per month in 6-minute increments.
Because it was moved by you, seconded by.
Okay.
And then she made a motion, and
Isn't it a further
That's why I
amendment
was
of
asking
5?
if it was time for me to
so I'm
make a
just confused on what motion we're making.
Okay, so let's break it into bite-sized chunks then.
motion.
Okay, so the 6 minutes, we did not vote on.
Right. Adding
Um,
that to 5.
And
I was, that was not in the first one? All right, so the amendment, as I understand it, is a flat rate of 5,000 for both attorneys, up to 40 minutes per month, billed in 6-minute increments,
Not
hours.
40 minutes per month.
I'm sorry, 40 hours per month, billed in 6-minute increments.
Yeah.
Does that align with what you have, Lonnie?
Yes.
Okay, and we did not get a vote on that?
No.
Let's do a vote on that motion.
Battles?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude?
Yes.
Stupin?
Yep.
6-0, that motion carries. Now we have another motion to amend
Yes.
The travel.
the travel time. Lonnie, do you want to read back the best version you have of that?
There's
Route
eight.
We're comfortable going to the recording on that one?
Yes.
Yeah, it had something to do with.
The city shall not pay for travel time,
The city shall pay for
Outside of
travel
the-
time outside of 1 day,
or, yeah.
with the exception of 1 day a week.
Shall pay,
In
not
excess.
shall not, in excess of 1 day,
Okay,
1 scheduled day.
and that motion was originally Tupin,
Yes, and.
second by Ronning.
Yes.
Discussion on the table for that? Let's get a vote on that, please.
Battles?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude?
Yes.
Stupin?
Yes.
6-0, that motion carries. That brings us back to the main motion. Are there any further motions to amend?
The red was amended from the original rights. We don't have to do anything like that with
Right,
the
no,
malpractice.
well, no, we did that, that was the first one we did, was that red?
We did not do the malpractice.
The 10.
No, we did not do malpractice.
Okay.
So there's not a motion to amend the malpractice.
Okay, so, but are we, is the red included in the contracts that we are voting on, or was that
No,
suggested
only
by?
The
Okay, thank
blank
you.
is what we are voting on,
Thank
with the
you.
red that we voted, with the
That's
three
what I thought,
amended motions to amend.
I just wanted clarification.
Understood.
Oh, my lord.
Don't give him a chance to back out.
I know, they're gonna run away. They're gonna totally run away.
The resolution. Can you tell?
They're like, yeah, okay.
We're good.
So
Discussion at the table,
we do not need to get rid of that then, because it's not
because
part
it's
of.
not in there.
Thank you.
We don't need to move to amend, or
Thank
to
you.
strike, yeah.
That's all I needed. Thank
Okay,
you.
gotcha. Any further discussion at the table before we bring it back to the main motion?
Oh, yeah.
Could I get a roll call on the main motion, please?
Battles?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude?
No.
Stupin?
5-1, the motion carries. Thank you. Other council business. So this is, we don't have our committee meetings to report on, but I did still leave on there, this is the opportunity for council to discuss anything else that they would like to add to the agenda or collectively direct the mayor to do. Going once?
Well, of course, I have something to say. First of all, I wish you well. You seem like nice men. The process was so messy, I just could not vote for it. But God bless, and I'll enjoy getting to know you. Okay. I will defend to my death my right to get information on employees, potential employees. Because how can I advise and consent if I don't have information in front of me? That's all I want to say.
Okay, heard, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion from council? Any correspondence that council would like to share?
I have a question.
Councilmember Davis?
Regarding Ann's question about the information, did you want to get the council input, did you say, on getting that information? Or was
On-
her request on Scott and Skylar's?
If council would like to make a request for me to put together a packet, certainly council has the prerogative to, if I've got 4 member councils that say, please put together a packet that contains the following information, I'm certainly happy to do that.
My request would be is, kind of as Ann said, is before we make that kind of motion and get these last minute meetings and those types of pieces, just including qualifications. I don't necessarily need like all of this, and nor do I necessarily think it's necessary.
No,
But I do think having a synopsis would be beneficial. Because again, it is folks that we don't know, and it's also, if it's not, and this is something that I find interesting, because you say that it's not a part of the discussion, but when we get this long stream of the hot mess that has been happening in the background, how does that not feel like it's supposed to be part of this meeting? It's literally in our packet. So to me, like, that clarification ahead of time would be beneficial.
Okay.
Because again, though you guys might have the context here in the room, we are just receiving a packet. And I don't necessarily feel like you should have to repeat yourself, and nor should we have to, you know, get these questions from the public and not have decent answers.
Yeah.
So my request would be is context is great, and so is just synopsis, again, more context, context for days.
And those were provided basically in the correspondence element of it, so
Yeah.
without a, so,
Yeah, so again, it felt pretty gross going in,
okay,
so.
noted.
slap that.
Other comment from council? All right, Councilmember Davis.
I like, information to backstory or whatever, I don't need all the details, but just a little synopsis or something that kind of,
Okay.
that is helpful,
Noted.
in case anybody asks after public meeting.
Okay.
And I just have one comment. I mean, I agree. Definitely, it's nice to have some type of synopsis. I know that, in other things where we're just approving department head hire, I've never gotten any of this ever, but it would be nice to at least have, you know, a synopsis of where they're from, what's their experience, and they gave it to us tonight.
Yeah,
Nice. So, yeah, you know, so I'm okay with that.
Context is helpful, and
Yeah, and it's nice, especially when they're going to be a city attorney. We ask great questions like, "Have you ever written an ordinance?" You know, I was like, it's great about the prosecuting part, but typically, you know, you're going to be dealing with misdemeanors. You know, probably a lot of DUIs because we're Red Lodge, and
Spilling the drink with the cap on.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, but it's going to be things like, and I've talked to the mayor about this a little bit. I mean, does the city attorney even have to come if someone's going to fight a parking ticket? You know, what's the judge's role in all of that? You know, I mean, if we're paying $125 so somebody can fight a $50 parking ticket, that's a little ridiculous, but that's just me, so. I'm like,
On the record.
on the record, yeah.
All right. Any other comment from council? All right, seeing none, we're going ahead, and this brings us to the public comment at the end of the meeting. Again, this is anyone's opportunity to be heard by council on anything within council's purview. We'll go ahead and open the public comment. I'll look to the room.
Once again, sorry, Pope Smith. I think it's important for the entire council to be forewarned, prepared for the discussion you're going to have here at the table. And I think that's what the packet's purpose is. But when the packet's missing information, it puts the council people in a bad position. So that's just a view from the cheap seats back here.
Thank you, Hope. Any other public comment? Seeing none in the room, I'm looking for online. Public comment going once, twice, 3 times. We'll go ahead and close public comment. And having completed the agenda, we will go ahead and adjourn.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful, safe 4th.
Thank you. I'm gonna fire off